Welcome to the exclusive interview with Mr. Mandar Tamhane, who is the CEO of the Northeast United Football Club. Welcome to Business Northeast, Mr. Tamhane. So, presently, uh, NEUFC just won the Durand Cup, and it has attracted a lot of attraction this time. So, what are you planning right after after this winning victory?
No, I think winning the Durand Cup for the club was very important, uh, especially because we won the trophy for the first time after 11 years. So, with respect to the fans, I think they deserved it, if I may say so. So it was a very important victory for us as a club. Um, but that's just, I think, a small start for us. I think we need to do a lot more things that we have in mind to not just make the club, the fans, but also the region very proud, because we represent the entire region. And for us, it's important that we keep on performing not just on the pitch but also off the pitch to ensure that the fans are proud of what they represent. Obviously, going forward now, we have the ISL. Durand Cup was just a starter of the season, so we entered into the Indian Super League. So I think last year we finished 7th. So I think the plan would be to just do better than what we did the last season. I think that's the first step, and then we take it from there.
So first, let's go through the things like what are you thinking next? And since you are it's only the one thing that's the region-specific club. So what's next? You are thinking for the Northeast about the sports economy part and about our players here.
No, I think normally the clubs that are playing in the Indian Super League, or even in the I League or the I League Second Division, most of these clubs represent a city or a state. It's either a Bengaluru or a FC Goa or Odisha, which is either a city or a state. But at Northeast United, we are representing 8 states, which is a big region to represent. But at the same time, it adds on a lot more responsibility towards us. Also, if you see Indian football, most of the talent in most of the clubs, as per what we had done our assessment, I think around 62% of the players come from the Northeast region. And if we are representing the entire Northeast region, then it's an added responsibility for us to ensure that we can create a pathway for the players from a young age to the professionals, so that they can make a career in that. So I think it's very easy to say or spell it out, but I think it requires a lot of effort from all of us collectively at the club to ensure that we can create that. Obviously, winning, losing is part of any sport, so that will happen, that will not happen, so that time will tell. But as long as we are focusing on the process that we want to that we have in mind to ensure that we achieve things that we want to achieve with regards to player development, with regards to grassroots, with regards to youth development, with regards to the first team performing, obviously, and also in some ways giving back to the community that we represent. So I think these are the few factors that we have to work more harder, I think, and ensure that we try and achieve those.
Northeast is a very emotion centric region, and we have a lot of talents in the remote area especially. So what NEUFC is, how they are they are attracting the talents from those remote places.
No, I think as I said, we need to create pathway for them, right? If they have a choice to try and use that pathway in the region which is closer to their homes, they will prefer doing that rather than going maybe to a Goa or a Mumbai or a Bengaluru. So I think first it is important for us to set up that sort of a pathway, which means that we have to ensure that we absorb the talent at a very young age. It could be under 7s, under 9s, under 11s, under 13s, under 15s, under 17s, and the reserve team, and then the first team. So to ensure that, obviously, we have to set up different centers right across the 8 states for a very young age. Then obviously we are looking at setting up the residential academy, which for me is very, very important aspect of this whole thing. And I think we are in discussion with the Meghalaya government and the Meghalaya government has allocated 15 acres of land for us to build this academy. So I think these are the important steps that we need to take so that the foundations are strong, and these players then have the opportunity to get selected, get scouted for into the academy. They might be from Sikkim, Nagaland, Mizoram, anywhere, so I think if we can create this kind of an opportunity and a pathway where these players can make a career for themselves, I think that is something which we'll have to focus more on, I think.
So could you please explain the viewers about the training criteria, how the talents are being selected on basis of what are the specific criteria, and how they are further handhold by the NEUFC?
No, I think the most important thing is for any talent to be scouted. I think there has to be some competitions that they play in, whether it's at a school level or whether it's at a very young age group. And I think the state associations, football associations that are there in various states play a very important role in helping organize these competitions. We have got the sub-junior and junior nationals, which under 13 and under 17 boys represent the respective states. So there's a competition which is organized by the All India Football Federation. So when they are playing, these our coaches obviously look at the way they perform, look at certain abilities that make them slightly different than average player may say. They may have got very good speed, they may have got good ball control, they may have good abilities to dribble past players, etc., etc. So I think once you see that they have got these few basic talents in terms of the playing part, then obviously you look at the physicality, you look at the understanding of the game, which is tactical understanding, and also how they are able to correlate to the players that they play with, or the coaches, how they take the instructions from the coach. Or these are a few factors which normally the coaching or the technical staff look at the players when they are looking at.
To be at par with the other states, major cities or states of our country, what Northeast has to do? What do you think as a
No, I think most importantly, I think the talent that is in the Northeast is unfortunately going outside of Northeast. And for us to keep them in the region, it is important for clubs like us to ensure that we create the pathway for them. If they have this pathway, then they obviously would prefer staying in the region. So I think it's more responsibility on us as clubs to ensure that we do the right scouting of the players across the region, give them this proper structure. That's as a club we can do. The second thing which I feel can probably be done is by the state associations to have competition at a young age. We have got under 7s, under 9s. They should be playing every weekend some matches or the other. So if we can create this competitive network right across all the states, then it becomes a player can develop from the coaching, from the infrastructure that we have, that is small fields, etc. But apart from these two things, it is also important that they are exposed to a lot of competitive matches. So as an administrator, whether it's a club or a state association, it is important that they organize these competitions where these children get to play a lot more games, and then obviously with the coaching they get better and better, and then obviously there's an opportunity for them to become professional players as they grow.
So I would like to know about the challenges the NEUFC has faced in Northeast while forming the club, while giving trainings to our players. So what has been the journey so far?
No, I think I joined the club around a year and a half back. I can obviously speak about what's happened in the last 1.5 years, but I think what I felt once I joined here, the importance was to ensure that we create a sense of responsibility and belonging for whoever is representing the club, whoever is supporting the club also at the same time, and at the same time also ensuring that what I spoke about, trying to create this pathway, because we didn't have that structure before. So it is important for us to ensure that we indulge with the different stakeholders in the whole Northeast region, which includes the various state associations, which includes different governments also. And because I think everybody here wants people to engage themselves in sports, especially the youth, because that's my observation. Me being from Maharashtra and having worked previously in Bengaluru, so I'm able to work with the Maharashtra government also, as well as the Karnataka government also. But my experience in the last 1.5 years is people here are very receptive. They want things to happen. Maybe they don't have the right direction for it, and I think that's where people like us have to come in and try and give that direction, so that we can create something which can be beneficial for the players, and in the end represent the region as a whole. So I think for me, since I've joined in the past 1.5 years, I think my main goal has to be to ensure that we create this kind of opportunities, or create a system or a structure which can in which we'll be able to deliver what we are thinking. So it's not easy, but I think we are on the right track. If I think about the last 1.5 years, I definitely feel we are on the right track.
Speaking of the coach, Mr. Banali, so he has obviously led that club and it has brought titles to the club. So what do you feel about his role in this club, and how this has added to the continuous success, and how do you plan to maintain that?
I think it's for me, a club is successful by the people that work at the club. Whether it's the players, whether it's the coaching staff, or whether it's the rest of the staff that is working, I think collectively defines the success of a club. And the coach is like the captain of the ship for me. So having the right coach is very important, and I think one such coach that we believe is the right fit for the club, not just because he's a football coach, which he obviously is, but also the fact that in his previous capacity he has also been a sort of a CEO at a club. He's been a technical director, he's been a general manager, he's also had his own academy. So you have got a person who has worked across the spectrum of a football club. So he's got the experience. Today if I tell him that we don't have the budgets to spend the money to get the players, he can understand that, because he's been a CEO at a club, he's been a general manager at the club. So he understands the finance of the club, he understands the technicality of the clubs. Because he had his own academy, he's ready to be brave and invest in the young talent also. So I think he's a right fit for the club, for the vision that we have at the club. So I think in the last 1.5 years that he's been at the club, he's shown that what we believe that he has those capabilities. He has shown it on the ground, and Durand is one such small little step towards that. Obviously, I would not say it is the step, because there's a lot more that we can achieve actually. It's just one small step, but I think it's the right fit to the region, first of all, with what the region gives, and with the vision that we have. He shares the same vision, and he has the expertise to ensure that the vision can be brought into existence, so to say.
That's great to know, sir. So going back to the residential facility that will be set up in Meghalaya very soon. So when is the expected time, and what will be the facilities available there? Just give us a brief details.
No, I think it's still into sort of the pipeline, as we say. Obviously, the Meghalaya government has allocated the land and given us the letter for the allotment. I think by end of January or end of February, most likely the land will be handed over to us. The land basically is sort of a topography where it is not a flat land, it's like a hillock. So obviously the government have to flatten it and give it to us, which is what right now what is happening. And I believe by the end of January or end of February we'll have the land. Once the land comes, then we'll start construction on that. So it'll take at least a year and a half or 2 years for the whole facility to be developed. In the facility, it's about having a residential facility. Obviously the training facility will have 2 or 3 football grounds, we'll have a gymnasium, we'll have accommodation for not just the players but also the staff that are working there, that is the coaches, etc. So ensuring also that education also is a very important plays an important role in a player's career, because people tend to think that it's either playing or either education, but we believe that if both have to work together, because you need intelligent sportsmen also, you need smart sportsmen also. So I think having an education facility there where we can give education to these children also is important. It will be for under 13s, under 15s, under 17s, and the reserve team. So there will be around maybe 75 to 100 children that will be in that particular age group in the setup. So ensuring the lodging, boarding, which is the mess, food, diet, sports psychology, all these factors will be taken care of when we start, so that the kids are prepared in the right manner with maybe what the global standards are. And we want this to be the center of excellence and one of the major centers in India, in Indian football for youth.
So, any fee structure that you will be putting up there?
This will be purely on a talent basis. So you have to scout this talent and basis the talent. So that is the priority. Once we are able to ensure that that is in place, maybe we can think about the paid model also. But right now that's not the criteria. The criteria is ensuring that as a club we are supporting not just the region but in a larger landscape even Indian football. So it will be purely on the talent which is being selected and scouted. um, in my previous capacity when I was working with Bengaluru FC, we had set up a similar residential academy in a place called Bellary, which is around 4 hours from Bangalore. So I've got enough experience to ensure that it's purely based on talent and not by who's paying money or how much of fees or anything. I think that's not the right that's not the area that we want to immediately go into.
So you mean to say that our underprivileged children will also be benefited? That will be a blessing for the region.
No, I wouldn't say it's underprivileged or I mean the what do you say? It's nothing to do with where they come from. The only criteria they need to have that they should have a little bit of talent in the sport, and that's about it. Whether he comes from a very influential family or whether he's underprivileged, that doesn't matter. It's purely on the talent that you select the kid, and once he is selected and is part of the academy, whatever the expense is required in terms of his lodging, boarding, education, playing, etc., will be borne by the club. So I think that's how a residential facility in football works. So I think we have to focus on that and ensure that the kid can be from anywhere. It doesn't matter. It's just that he has to be talented enough for our scouts to like him and see the potential for him to go on to develop a professional footballer.
Again, going back to the residential campus, so why Meghalaya? Why not other northeastern states?
No, we are obviously working with the other governments also. Primarily, we are working currently with the Assam government also, as well as Arunachal Pradesh, and obviously Meghalaya is also a state that we are actively working in. The idea is the residential setup will be only one because that's the center of excellence, which obviously will be in Shillong because the government was kind enough to give us 15 acres land, which is I think a big achievement for us as a club, and we feel proud for that. It's not easy that you have a government who's able to support you in a sport, especially like football. If it's cricket, it's a different ball game, but for football, a government supporting us is very important, and I think we are really happy and proud of it. But at the same time, we are also having centers in all the other 8 states, which is not a residential facility. It will be like a sort of, you just live in where you are, you come in the evening, play your sport and go back. So that will be around, we are planning to at least have 15 such centers across the 8 states, and likewise for that we've been talking to different stakeholders, the state governments, the state associations, and slowly but surely I think we will be able to inculcate a culture which is going to be parents wanting the kids to go and play at a young age, and the weekends they're going and playing competitive matches. So once this culture is right across, then we'll see more and more talent develop, which already is there, but if they have this sort of a structure, we'll see more and more such talent. So I think as far as the region is concerned, I think it's not just Meghalaya that we are focusing on. We are receptive to whatever ideas. We are ready to even take up the programs that the governments have. Like for example, in Assam, we are trying this Khel Maharan that happens here.
So you have a very rich experience in the sports industry. So according to you, can you tell us about how our Northeast has shaped up so far, and what's the future for sports here?
No, I think Northeast has already produced a lot of talented sportsmen which have made the nation proud at the highest level, whether it's Olympics, whether it is Commonwealth Games, Asian Games, different sports also. So I think a lot of effort has been put. For example, in Assam, in Guwahati, we have the badminton center that was inaugurated recently, which is probably the best in Asia, if not the world. And I think such infrastructure helps not just for the players to look up, to take up the sport, but also for international competitions to come here. So I think that's definitely happening in Guwahati as far as the badminton is concerned. Obviously, there are a lot of. I think Assam also has primarily done a lot of given a lot of importance to sports science. If you see, they have tied up with the Abhinav Bindra Center of Excellence and have started a high performance center in couple of districts in Assam, which is again which is state of the art equipment for testing athletes in different sports. Which we don't even get to see in maybe a Mumbai also, for that matter. So that's the kind of investment that the government is doing, which I feel is very important. We don't see that kind of support from governments from different parts, which they can if they want to. So I think as far as the Northeast is concerned, we saw for football in Arunachal Pradesh the Santosh Trophy, which is the national championship, was held in Itanagar. A beautiful stadium was constructed there. So again, we see a lot of development as far as infrastructure is concerned there.
So with so much of investment, how NEUFC is making a revenue?
No, I think as far as football is concerned in India, the kind of revenue model is concerned is very, very different than what it is globally. We have got any sport to be successful commercially, it's the media rights that money comes from. The selling of the media rights is what comes back into the sport, and that is the biggest chunk of money that comes in sports, which is at least maybe 50-70 times than even the sponsorship money or the ticketing money or the sale of merchandise, different sports, even cricket for that matter. So I think the major chunk of money in sport always comes from the selling of the media rights.
So when you say about the ticketing, the fan base, so how does NEUFC handles that, being a stadium of average 17,000 kind of fans there? So how does it manages?
No, the first thing is for us to ensure that the stadium is full, which even now is not full. Even though capacity is around 20 to 23,000, we get 12, 13, 14,000 on some weekdays. Obviously, we get lesser crowds. So the first goal should be that how can we make the stadium full, which will help us, even for the players to play, not just for our club players, but even the opponent clubs. It's always good to have a full stadium. All players like to play where there are fans in the stadium. So I think that's the first goal.
So as I see it, like you have mentioned about the, you have collaborated with various, governments here in the entire northeastern region. So there are campaigns as well, as we have also the taglines like Awesome Assam, and I'm sure the other northeastern states have also such kind of campaigns here. So have you thought of, approaching the tourism departments of the states here?
So we have already partnering the tourism department of Assam. Obviously, Meghalaya Tourism is also our partner. So currently, we are working with these two. Obviously, we will like other governments also support us in that manner. But Assam government has already been supporting us, not just in terms of the tourism part, but the sports department is helping us in hosting the matches here. We are using the Sarusajai Stadium. We have our office also in the Sarusajai Stadium. So there are different ways where the government is supporting us. We are very fortunate that Assam government has been very, very helpful for us in organizing the matches of the Indian Super League. Various departments within the government, the police, the sanitation, the health department, all of them have been helping us to host these matches. So I think in a nutshell, I think the governments have been very supportive, and that's very good to see, because previously from where I came from, Karnataka, we did not have that kind of a support. To come here and to see that these governments are supporting us, for me is very, very refreshing, and it's good to see that for the governments it is like sort of supporting the sport is sort of giving a direction to the youth of the state. So, and I think and that is needed, I think, for sure. And football is a very popular sport in Northeast. So if football becomes a vehicle in terms of giving a direction to the youth of the region, why not? And I think the governments are doing that. So, and as a club, then it becomes our responsibility to bring the professionalism in that, to ensure that that support is not going waste, and we are also making the right kind of use of that support to ensure that the players and the people from the region benefit from it.
So Any plan of investment that you are doing right now, like in merchandise and attracting more fans towards the play?
No, I think we have got our kits which is for sale, which obviously the merchandise is on sale. The major investment I think is in ensuring that we, uh, with the help of different governments, have this infrastructure in place. Ensure that we are having good coaches in place who can train these children, who can come to a level where they represent not just the club but the state team, and going forward hopefully even the national teams of various age group. So I think the investment purely cannot be looked from a money point of view, but it can be looked from how we can nurture this talent in the right manner, because this region is talented. It just needs right direction, right, I would say, decision making when it comes to the development aspect is concerned. And I think that's where we as a club can invest a lot into it, to ensure that we give this direction in a structured manner where the right growth happens for these children.
When we come to these kind of football clubs, there are a lot of startups. The entrepreneurs are coming up with such kind of initiatives here in our northeastern states. So what do you feel about the entrepreneurship role here?
Once you have got industries and once you have got corporates coming here, um, the only form of recreation for them is sports. So if we can have sports infra where we can uh, have these corporates or have these industry people to relax and enjoy and have a good sporting environment, then obviously you've got clubs from the region. You've got Northeast here, you've got few other clubs in other parts, where in the evening you can go and watch a football match. So if you can create that kind of, if such kind of a system exists, then I think why not. And you see, you're hearing about the semiconductor plant coming in Assam, which is a huge investment that's going to happen. So I think I feel the doors of Northeast are open for bigger and bigger players to come in, which means there'll be a lot of monies coming in. That means there'll be a lot of good infrastructure coming in. And I think slowly but surely the region will definitely benefit because of the industries coming in, and definitely sport will benefit, because if you see this year we have got a very good support from Coal India, which also has got its representation in the region. Last year we had Indian Oil as a brand which was supporting us. That also has its presence in the region. So there are brands and industries from the region which are supporting a club from the region, and I think this only will help the sport grow.
About the upcoming matches of NEUFC, so please tell us about what new
Be playing our matches now, the ISL home matches. We start with tomorrow. We've got a game against Kerala Blasters that we play, and until the end of March we'll be playing 12 games here, which is our home games. We just hope that we get support from the fans, because I think in some way or the other, as I mentioned earlier, we have made the fans proud by winning the Durand Cup. So it's time, I think, that they will support the club like they used to do in the first 2-3 years. Once the ISL started, we had the stadiums full for all the games. I mean, I've even heard that the tickets were the tickets were sold out, and then still people were cramping to get the tickets some way or the other. So I hope we can create that kind of belonging and that kind of support that the fans, and because see, at the end of the day it has to be two ways, right? I mean, if I expect the fans to come and support me, I have to ensure that I do something good where they are proud of, so that they can support, whether obviously by winning competitions or playing well, or ensuring that as a club we are functioning well, where we are, this youth development is there, grassroots is there. So I think it's a collective effort from a football club to expect a good support from the fans. So I think as a club, uh, uh, we are trying our best to do that. I still feel we can do a lot more, and hopefully, with the right kind of results that now we have started getting, we can be able to have more and more fans wanting to support the club, because the region is big. There are a lot of people. It's just about us doing something which can make them proud for them to then support the club.
So you mean to say like NEUFC can handle the toughest of matches here with the competitive clubs?
Of course, why not? I mean, even in the Durand Cup final, we beat Mohun Bagan in Calcutta, which is their home ground. There were 55,000 people in the Salt Lake Stadium. So I think uh, bigger club or smaller club, doesn't matter. When it comes on the pitch, it's always 11 versus 11. The score is 0-0 and you start the game. So I think it doesn't matter how big or a smaller club is. I think it's just about us following our process that we believe in. I think the results will follow if we just believe in our process and follow the process set by the coaches, the strategy set by the coaches. So I think we are looking forward to it.
So anything leading to the women empowerment, anything you are planning there?
No, I think from a women's perspective, I think first we have already started with the women's team for a younger age group, and I think women football is something which should definitely is growing and should grow further, because I think the Indian women's team will probably play the World Cup first, then the men's team. That's what we all in football believe that. But it's a collective effort, again, not just by one club, but all the clubs, all the different stakeholders in the sport. But we see a lot of girls from the region also representing in the Indian national team. So we feel that as a club, it's not just about the boys side, but also the girls side that we look after. So we've started a local girls team which we want to slowly build upon, and hopefully there's a IWL, the Indian Women's League, that happens in Indian football. It's very short, it's only for 3 months. We hope that it becomes a much longer league. Then we can make meaningful contribution to ensure that we are giving them competition and have a program right through the year rather than just 2-3 months. So once that takes shape, I think we will be in a good position to then have a women's team in the IWL, or even having younger girls team, under 13s, under 15s, which can then participate in the competition also.
So as we come to the end of the conversation, any message you would like to give out to the players, the younger talents here?
I think just keep playing, keep enjoying, and aspire to play for Northeast and for the Indian national team. We are here to support them. We'll always be there to ensure that the right talent is picked up, the right talent is given the right opportunity to perform, and obviously help the club also grow and help the player also meet his expectations or meet the levels that he should reach at.
Also, any you would like to say what the future plans, like 5-year plan or something?
No, I think there are different ways where we can put it. One is obviously when it comes to the first team, the short-term goal for us would be to obviously qualify in the top 6 of the ISL, which gives us the opportunity to go to the playoffs. The long-term vision would be that we want to be the club to represent India in the Asian club competition, which means we have to be right at the top at different competitions that are happening here, and which allow us to go and represent in Asia. So that's the first team related thing. Maybe as far as the youth development is concerned, is to ensure that we inaugurate the academy as soon as possible. And maybe 3-4 years down the line, we have players that are coming out of the academy going on to represent different age group teams of India, and then maybe further down the line, maybe have these kids groomed right from a very young age, and they go on to represent the Northeast United first team. So I think these can be the short-term, long-term goals. Obviously, we want more and more fans to support us. We are able to take the ISL matches to different parts of Northeast, and hopefully we'll have more and more brands that are local here, to support us as a football club also, in terms of the financial side is concerned. So hopefully we can do something good which the whole region can be proud of, and also we become, we represent them not just in India but at the Asian stage.
Very well. So Mr. Tamhane here has already given the visionary inputs of NEUFC and his upcoming plans, plus about upcoming matches. Thank you, Mr. Tamhane, for joining with Business Northeast. Thank you so much.